Well, thank you for staying with us. It's still sports tonight, and we were discussing the Nigeria National League final round of games to be played this weekend before we went on the break. Alfred, just to wrap that up, I want to repeat what we said on the show yesterday, that it is important for the Nigerian Football Federation to monitor this last round of games so that we don't have violence, we don't have the game being thrown into disrepute, and of course some scandalous score lines. We've seen these things before, but we hope that this time, for all the trouble we've had with the National League this season, we don't end with controversy.
I think, yeah, of course, it has to be that measures be put on ground to ensure that things go right. Because if you look at the National League, the Premier League, by very, very high standards, have really set the benchmark for how the league should run. The Premier League this season, the way it's gone, it's been awesome. So we just have to use that as a benchmark. And for the National League, 3 of the groups have been taken care of. We know the winners from that group. This last game, I think we have enough men and material to ensure, like you said, to really
quality officials,
make sure that we don't hear all of these issues of it happened like this. Oh, we needed 15 goals and 15 goals. If 15 goals like this throughout the season happened. So to avoid anything untoward, I think the managers of the league should keep their eyes on every center and ensure, especially the centers where you know that results will kind of impact on what they get at the end of the day.
All right, so that's the message for the Nigeria Football Federation. And the National League, they don't have a substantive board. They have a caretaker committee, so to say, but they can still monitor and ensure that we end well. Let's quickly get you up to speed with the Women League, the fixtures from the different groups, groups A and B. Let me start with Group A. Oshun Babes will be taking on Nasarawa Amazons. Stokers Queens will be taking on Pelican Queens, Pelican Stars, as they call them. Abia Angels against Bayelsa Queens. Ibom Angels against COD Ladies. This is from Group A of the Nigerian Women Premier League. And then in Group B, we have FC Robo against Sunshine Queens, Adamawa Queens against Delta Queens, Rivers Angels against Taraba Queens, Confluence Queens against Capital City Doves. All right, so if you are not a queen, you'll be an angel, or you'll be a star, or you'll be dove, you'll be something. But just play your game. That's how it is for the women. All right, so we'll talk more about this when we return on Monday, probably give you the results and tell you the stories around some of those games. We hope those games will also go on without hitches, because the women's game has really seen a lot in the last couple of seasons. Alfred, let's move on very quickly and talk a little bit of tennis before we're expecting the call from the president of the Nigerian Table Tennis Federation, Wahid Enitan Shodi, who is in Morocco as we speak. But we were talking about the women's team and what they've suffered. The same fate that befell them en route the Olympic Games in Rio when they couldn't show up for the qualifiers is the same that has happened now for the World Championship. And I was thinking that for all that table tennis did for Nigeria at the Olympic Games, we had a momentum that we could build on to begin to make the game get better, and get better in Nigeria.
I think it's an opportunity lost, and it's sending the wrong signal. That's the danger of things like this. It's sending the wrong signal to those young athletes, young table tennis players who are coming up. If you know, they want to look at it, okay, the men go for this competition. They are able to showcase the talent that they have because they've been given the opportunity, they've been given the platform. Why not extend that courtesy to the women? That has not been done. And so what it means that for all of the games, like you mentioned, that we've made, all of the inroads that we've made to reassert our dominance on the continent as far as table tennis is concerned, we are in another breath eroding all of that, because if you tell them table tennis, perhaps one or two of them will say, let's look at other sports as it were, perhaps maybe badminton or other sports, because you can play this. Even if you give your best in table tennis, you might not have the opportunity of showcasing this talent to the world. You just leave you here, play one or two competitions, perhaps leave the Lagos Open, or maybe one or two competitions back home here, go to the All African Games, and that is it. And I don't think it's good enough. We don't want these girls to think that because they are girls or because they are women, they can't have the same opportunity that men have to really showcase. Even at that, for the men, What is the measure of support? Some of them pay their way to this competition. And at the end of it, wait for reimbursement. I don't think it's good enough.
We should be doing a lot more. Okay. We'll try and reach Wahid and Shudi, but I'm told, my producer is telling me that Femi Adefeso is ready to talk to us. So we'll just talk to Femi Adefeso now to find out exactly what is going on with the Basketball Championship Zone 3, West African Zone, taking place in Lomé, Togo. And then later on, we'll talk to Wahid and Shudi. So if we can get Femi now, let's talk to Femi. Femi Adefeso, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't hook up with you on the show yesterday, but thank God you're on the line with us today. Can you fill us in on what's going on? We know it's all good for Kano Pillars. What about customs? What about the women?
Yes, Tony, good evening and good evening to all our Sports Tonight viewers. I'm glad to join you today. I must say I missed out yesterday, and I was following on the internet how the show was going. But into matters arising over here in Togo, I must say customs still have a chance of getting through to the finals, but their last game will be very crucial. They'll be taking on AS Nigelec of Niger Republic, the team that lost yesterday to Kano Pillars. And if they can just keep that victory, they will be all but through to the finals in Egypt. As for State Bank, they've run rugged all their opposition in this tournament. So they probably will be going to the championship in Mozambique with an unblemished record, having annihilated their opponents from Niger Republic as well, FCC, by 104 to 58 points, yesterday. It's been very interesting over here. Just 6 new teams showed up from the 8 national teams that we expected to come around. And for the women, just 3 teams. So they managed to play just 4 games in between them, home and away basis. And First Bank has totally thrown everyone off in their quest to get to the finals once again. So they are the only representatives we have because Dolphins didn't show up to the championship here in Lomé. But I must say I've been impressed with the way and the style they have played. For Customs, I think what really plagued them in the first game was the fact that they came in barely 24 hours to that game against ASPAC of Benin Republic, which they lost narrowly, and they've since won 3 of the remaining games. So they'll be playing their last game tomorrow against Nigelec, like I said. And once they get that win, they also will be through to the finals in Egypt come December.
Before we allow you to go, talk to us about the quality of this competition. We know a lot of clubs couldn't show up, funds, and for whatever reasons. But what quality have you seen? And the bigger picture for the Nigerian clubs, Kano Pillars, how well should we expect that they will perform when they go for the main championship? When they go for the tournament, what should we expect from Kano Pillars?
Overall, I think the tournament has been very decent. The girls from Niger Republic actually served us a very interesting encounter when they took on their opponent from Lomé, who, of course, will be getting the second ticket alongside First Bank. They call them Etoile Filante. Beautiful basketball. The game actually went into overtime before it went out, and you need to see the quality of these girls. It shows that senior basketball, on the African continent is actually very big. Remember what our Tigers did, last time out, and we talked about Senegal and what happened in Cameroon. It goes to show that each focus, can be laid on the senior aspect of the game. I think we have what it takes to become, very dominant on the world stage, which we haven't been, particularly from the women's, angle. But for Kano Pillars, it's been very interesting because we've added some new legs from teams that play for other championship teams, in the Nigerian Premier League. I thought Stanley Gumu to play for Mark Mentors, join them in the squad. And they look really good, but the worry too, just like everyone is saying, is can this team actually go on a step further and, show up, in the championship? They always don't show up, in the finals at the end of the day, but they breeze through the qualifiers. Mind the First Bank is the only team that has won, the club championship before, and they won it twice. Only, and we are expecting that Kano Pillars being there should be able to the kind of quality they have. But the coach is saying, look, if he has everything in his city, he would also inject some new fresh blood into the team. And likewise for customs as well. He managed to bring a few of the best players from the Nigerian league, and they are hoping to get some more just to fortify the squad, because at that level it's a different ball game entirely. All in all, I think the Nigerian team have really shown that on the West African standpoint, we are a big force when it comes to club basketball. And with the coaches talking about fortifying their squad and going into early preparation, because that was one of the reasons why it seemed like Custom came very late. At some point they were looking like they were not going to come. So all in all, if all these things can be put together, preparation goes as planned, because the competition starts as soon as possible. They should at least get to the later stage of the championship. Although we know Angola has a stronghold on the men's and women's club basketball, just because of their organization, basically.
Femi, thank you so much for speaking to us. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Lumetogo. We hope to see you on the show next Thursday, and then you'll give us a more comprehensive review of events. All right. So thank you so much, Femi Adefeso. That's been our man, our basketball expert, in-house expert, Femi Adefeso, who is in Lumetogo covering the basketball championship, zonal championship currently going on. All right, so that's it. Alfred, before I hope we'll be able to get Wahid Enidon as we go on for the table tennis angle. But that's one issue about our basketball team. We're good, we're dominant in this region. We're good
in West Africa.
West Africa, no problems. But once we go to the main competition, then it becomes a different ball game.
Interestingly, you mentioned Eto'o Filanti. These are, especially in the Francophone areas, there are clubs. It's a whole package.
Football athletics, basketball, handball, everything.
It becomes, for them, it's an institution. It's a way of getting everybody under the same umbrella. Just like the big clubs around the world, especially in Spain, the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid, they have their own basketball team. So for them, it's a culture. You accept that it's not only football that can be played. There are people who play other sports, and that's how you see them come the way they are. But when it comes to the continent, as it were, the African continent,
when the Angolans are beginning to come in,
petrodollar and Petro Atletico
from Angola,
when they come, and the Tunisians and everybody, and that club and the rest of them, you know
it becomes a different ball game.
And we don't have NBA players to draw from. It becomes an issue.
It becomes an issue. All right. We wish the Nigerian teams all the best. We need to go on a quick break now, and of course, when we return from the break, Alfred will have gone to take a rest. We'll be coming in with two guests, and we'll be talking grassroots football, the Super 8, the nationwide Super 8 that is ending in Lagos tomorrow. It's been a fantastic tournament. We've had a lot of excitement. The fan turnout has been amazing. So we'll talk about it, and we will try to also give you a preview of the final match, give you the results of games played today, and more interestingly, talk about what the future should be for grassroots football in the amateur division of Nigeria. How do we ensure that we lay a foundation that the National League and the Premier League can build on, so that we can change the structure of club football in Nigeria, and of course put Nigerian football on a better pedestal going forward. So we'll go on that break now, and then we'll be back with more on Sports Tonight. Join us again.